It is now my honor to begin the first induction. I will actually be doing the first introduction this evening as I'm introducing Matt Dunn, and I was Matt's lacrosse coach for 4 years at Middlebury. So it is my honor and privilege to introduce Matt Dunn this evening. As I just mentioned, I was Matt's coach for 4 years, and our job as presenters is not necessarily to just read stats and awards that one can find easily enough in the bio, but rather to put the athlete's Hall of Fame career in context, to give a little behind the scenes look into what made them special, what made them a Hall of Fame athlete. To do so with Matt, I will start with just a few of those stats and awards from his senior year to set a context. Matt was a first-team All-American in ice hockey. He was a first-team All-American and National Player of the Year in D3 men's lacrosse. And his teams over his 4 years had a 65-4 record with 3 consecutive NCAA championships. That sounds a lot like a Hall of Famer. But if we rewind back to Matt's first year at Middlebury, he was a JV ice hockey player. And at the end of the season for lacrosse, when we got to the NCAAs, you have to choose the players who can dress for the game. And Matt did not make the dress roster as a freshman at Middlebury. And he had a choice going into his sophomore year as to how he was going to respond. And he came out after ice hockey, got to practice on a Thursday, and was a starter by the next day on Friday, and the rest is history. Matt, to be clear, is a talented athlete. He's big, strong, has great hands in both hockey and lacrosse. But more than talent, Matt is a lesson in resilience, perseverance, hard work, and sheer will. He came back as a different athlete as a sophomore. In men's lacrosse, he took that mandated time off and started on the first day that he showed up at practice. There's another example of Matt's transition from ice hockey to lacrosse that I think demonstrates Matt's will. In Matt's junior season, we suffered a devastating 23-10 loss to Springfield. That was by far the worst loss in the program's history up to that point that we had experienced. For Matt's senior season, he would have to miss the Springfield lacrosse game because it was the Tuesday after the weekend that he stopped playing hockey, and we mandated that he take the week off. He convinced me that he should be able to play in that game. We were only going to have one light indoor practice on Monday after he finished hockey that weekend. So probably against my better judgment, I agreed to let him play. Matt promptly went out, and he had 6 goals and 4 assists in the first half. And he came up to me and in a very Matt Dunn confident type way, put his hand on my shoulder and he said, "Now I can rest." He was up to any challenge. The bigger the challenge, the better. In that sense, Matt's presence, his confidence, and his will made all of us more confident and all of us that much better. His leadership, work ethic, and integrity no doubt come from his great family. So thank you, Ed, Ann, and Chris. Matt was a great leader and, when necessary and appropriate, follower at Middlebury to some very impressive teammates. Thank you to all of the great men that Matt played with who are here today. And Matt has joined another great team in the Redmond family with his wife, Jen, who I think we can all agree is the best athlete at their dinner table every night. Unless Jack or Annie have taken over that crown yet, I'm not sure. And his 4 children, Jack, Rosie, Annie, and Bobby. And all of the Redmond family who are here, welcome, and thank you for sharing Matt with us. Please join me in welcoming Matt Dunn. So we're going to do... Oh, there you are. Thank you. Pull that.
All right, Annie, it's time. That's my cue. I am so incredibly honored and humbled to be here tonight, and I'm flattered to look out into the audience and see so many family, friends, former teammates, coaches. It's an honor. Aaron, I don't know where to start. You almost had me in tears there. Thank you so much for those kind words. You are an incredible mentor, coach, and personal friend. I don't have near the time to properly thank you for everything you have done for me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for this incredible honor, and thank you to all those people who made this night happen. Congratulations to my fellow inductees, their families, and their teammates. Today was a special day, spending the day with you and getting to know each of you. Being a student athlete at Middlebury College from 1998 to 2002 was an absolute privilege for all of us. There was a deep reverence for those who came before us, those who built a standard and culture of excellence that we were fortunate enough to inherit. There was a responsibility to cultivate and pass along those standards. As I reflected on what I was going to say tonight, I kept coming back to the team motto Todd Fryatt and the lacrosse seniors developed my freshman year, Journey Destination. Because although this does feel like a destination of sorts, the real reason why this means so much is because my journey was so special. I consider myself lucky that I found a passion for sports, and through sports, learned so many important life lessons. My journey started in 1984 when my parents moved my brother and I to the Kent School. My father was a teacher and coach, and for two boys who loved athletics, there was not a better place to grow up. Before they would become NHL coaches or All-American lacrosse players in college, the likes of David Quinn, Jack Capuano, H. Harden, and Bobby Wynn were our babysitters and our idols. Every day after school, along with our closest buddies from town, like Pete Mason, who's here tonight, we would be on the sidelines of my dad's practices. And on Saturdays, we boarded team buses, traveled with my dad's teams to inferior academic institutions like Taft, Hotchkiss, Choate, and Deerfield. I loved every minute of it. At Kent, we were raised by a village, which included some of the most amazing, selfless, hardworking people I've ever met. The likes of Don Gowan, Cy Theobald, Dan Traub, Ed Dunn, Todd Marble, led by example. How lucky were we that we could call them parents, coaches, and teachers. My Middlebury journey began in the summer of 1997 when Coach Quinn recruited me. He didn't have a whole lot of company. After committing early decision, I was quickly humbled when Coach Beanie told me that I was a JV level player. And perhaps after a couple of years, I could make the jump to varsity. He probably wasn't wrong. So I decided to focus on lacrosse, where, as Coach said, I proceeded to ride the bench and not make the NCAA tournament roster. So it was a pretty tough start for me to my Middlebury career. I learned a lot that year, and it wasn't so much in the classroom. I watched a hockey team win a national championship with a bunch of guys that I had grown up playing with. I wasn't bitter, I loved it, and desperately wanted to be a part of it. That summer, my brother and I locked ourselves in the Kent School weight room, and we got to work. We fed off each other, pushing one another to get better and stronger. Chris, your work ethic and commitment inspired me. Thank you. Sophomore year at Middlebury was one of the best years of my life. That fall, Coach Beanie gave me the opportunity to try out for the team, and thus began my experience at Middlebury as a part of the hockey program. The team embraced me, my classmates who I was competing with, Gray and Jack Kennedy, who are here tonight, and the older veterans, a bunch of you who are here tonight. Coach, you gave me a fair shake, and you held me accountable. You had a very unique motivational style, and you taught us a lot about ourselves. Thank you very much, Coach. That same year, the lacrosse team went on a special run. We were an exceptionally well-coached team, thanks to Aaron and Ritt, filled with a number of relatively inexperienced but fearless athletes. With inspiration from the late, great Peter Cohn, we went toe-to-toe with the high-powered Salisbury State Seagulls. Dave Campbell was a wall in net, Pete Soden a machine at the face-off X. Sophomore Dave Seeley, one of my best friends, rattled off 5 goals in the first half. Not too many assists, and would be named the championship game MVP. The rest is history. We did things the right way. We had fun, we worked hard, we put the team first. Seeing teammates and lifelong friends here tonight, like Jamie Hare, Dave Seeley, Pete Albro, Greg Carroll, Zach Herbert, Grayson Fertig, Mike Saracini, Mike Fasora, Andrew Helming, it's easy to remember why we competed so hard. We deeply respected one another and our coaches. The hockey program was no different. Coach Beanie and the seniors demanded nothing short of absolute commitment. There was nothing quite like playing in front of 3,000 rowdy fans at Kenyon Arena. Fond memories include, in 1999, when the Middlebury student body took over the Williams College rink. Raucous chants echoed through the rink 20 minutes prior to warm-ups. It was a must-win game for the team to make the NCAA tournament. I smile thinking about the East locker room at that point. Talk about motivation to make the team. Or when Middlebury bussed hundreds of students over to Plattsburgh in 2000 for the NCAA tournament. There was probably not a better environment to play hockey in. Or when Scotty Goldman, Coach Beanie, got thrown out of the NESCAC championship game 2001 against Amherst. There were 3,000 people in the arena. We dug deep. We were losing. We had a bunch of penalty minutes to kill off. We fought back, and then the place erupted when John Dawson scored the game-winning goal in overtime. The support was unrivaled, the team bond unbreakable, and the overall experience like no other. After my athletic career ended, filling the void wasn't easy at first, but a passion for golf certainly helped. In 2010, I met my beautiful wife, Jen, and everything fell into place. Jen is easily the greatest thing to ever happen to me. Some of you may know, well, at least you know now, Jen is twice the athlete I ever was, a world-class soccer player. She also happens to be the most humble person I know. To see her level of excitement and pride after Aaron called me with the Hall of Fame news made this all the more special. To my new squad, my twins, Jack and Rosie, my daughter Annie, and our favorite little guy, Bobby. You guys mean the world to me. I hope you find a passion, doesn't matter if it's sports, that helps you grow as a human being and teaches you life lessons along the way. I love you guys. Now for the hard part. In closing, I want to thank my mom and dad from the bottom of my heart. You sacrificed so much for Chris and I so that we could pursue sports and other interests. Our spring and summer weekends were spent in places like Woonsocket, Rhode Island, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, Montreal, and Toronto. While I am so thankful for those sacrifices, there's a thank you that is far more important. We don't have to look far to see helicopter parents, parents who know what's best for their kids, parents who set their children's goals for them and project their own anxiety and goals onto their impressionable kids. That was not the program in our house. I thank my parents for setting the proper expectations for Chris and I. Those expectations, which were non-negotiable, revolved around attitude, effort, respect, and commitment, not personal training, scholarships, goals, and winning. When Beanie told me I was a JV level player, my parents didn't offer an opinion on it. They let me make the decision about my future. My call, my ownership, my lesson to be learned. The most vivid, lasting memory I have from my athletic journey is after every game, big or small, I would get in the car or see my parents. This includes at Plattsburgh after we lost a heartbreaker in 2000, or after we lost the NCAA semis on Friday my senior year, hence why I was playing Springfield on Tuesday. And I'd be met with a smile and the same question. Well, did you have fun today? That's why my journey was so special. Thank you, guys.